Patrick, you got anything?
No additions or deletions from staff, Mr. Chair.
Does the board have anything?
No.
Hearing none, I need a motion to approve.
Wait a sec, you're talking the agenda? Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Move
I'll
to
second
approve
it.
the agenda.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Oh,
All right, item 3 is approval of payment of bills. You sign them, Steve?
I did move to approve payment of the bills.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed? All right, that motion carries. Item 4 is the approval of the prior meeting minutes from September 15th, 2025. Beth, I believe you have some changes?
Yeah, and a couple of them. When I was reading through the North Oaks, the last paragraph was kind of tough to follow. Maybe we should kind of rework the synopsis. It didn't kind of track.
What's your suggestion?
My suggestion is if we could, I'll go to it. It didn't list the like the order we had kind of discussed it and what we came to. I thought that they had presented their thoughts on the subject. We had given, what we thought would work, but it was like the first time they kind of brought us something, correct? For, to
you
try and
mean
move the,
You know the JPA?
yeah, forward. I mean, they came in with an idea because, it's always been no with regard to,
Yeah, it was their counter JPA.
yeah. And I didn't feel like it was clear.
Oh, what they were proposing?
Yeah. I just thought, like for,
oh, okay, so that was, so Chad actually brought a version of that implied contract language that you were gonna notify the North Oaks City Attorney with to the executive meeting.
okay,
So, I don't know how we want to reword this, but
Wasn't it, were you going to do a resolution? Is that what you were recommending?
Yes, the resolution.
So maybe just change that last sentence. The town attorney would prefer to have a resolution versus the implied, so we can get rid of the implied consent. Get the word resolution in there, because that's really what you wanted us to do,
That was my recommendation, yes.
where would you like to put that, folks?
that last sentence. But I think the recommendation, I think town attorney did notify the city attorney that implied water does not mean it will continue. Implied water does not mean it will continue. The town board was told that the city engineer was working on the issue. Town wants to get rid of the ongoing implied contract.
Yep.
So put in there that the town wants to pass a resolution to avoid an implied contract. That makes it pretty clear.
That makes much more sense, yes.
yeah, it didn't seem like it was clear.
Yeah, will that work for you?
We're totally with them. Good job, Steve.
So, town wants to pass a resolution to void implied contract?
Or two,
I'm sorry. Pass a resolution to
Well,
void.
avoid.
Void an implied contract.
okay, void implied contract.
Or to clarify, there is no, actually probably more correctly is to clarify there is no implied contract.
Okay, to clarify, there is no implied contract. Okay, got it.
All right, what else you got?
Okay, and then under the, where it's 2026 property tax levy, it's just a point of order. Steve made a motion, I second, wait a sec, that's not the one. Yeah, it is. Tax levy reduction. Steve made the motion, I seconded it, but it doesn't show that we did. And I don't know if that's important to show as a point of order in the meeting minutes, that it was
Yes.
seconded.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
And let's see, White Bear Schools, the one that was near and dear to my heart, we didn't put in the part that says that there will be no more forgiveness and we don't not pay bills if we
Okay.
don't agree.
So should I put the board will no longer grant forgiveness?
If they decide they don't want to pay their bill, and didn't it go on for longer than a year?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, it says here it's only a year, and it's like, no, that went on longer. And I just think that you guys put up with a lot.
Yeah,
And it's just because she didn't like what she heard.
yeah.
And so I think if this happens again, and if we're gonna be that hard-headed, there's no more forgiveness. That was a one-off.
How would you like me to word that then?
Well, before you do that,
Okay.
I don't believe that the board, Beth, I think that was you that said that?
I did at the end.
And yeah, and the board did not make a statement on that, so I'd be very careful.
Do you
to
want us
say
to
that the
come through?
board did it, because the board is, on the record, the board will not have made that,
Oh.
that resolution. So
Do you want it to come through the utility commission?
if that's what the utility commission decided, then as a
We
liaison
didn't,
to the
you know.
utility commission, you can say that on the
Well, we
record.
did actually say that. It was kind of a one-off.
And clarify it that way, I would.
Okay.
I don't know what you think about that, but,
Yeah,
that
all right. Let's see.
because that is, the utility commission makes the recommendations, and that's their recommendation, although we didn't act on it because it was at the end, but
Yeah,
yeah.
okay. I really went over with a fine tooth comb. I know you're happy about that. Let's see.
You
And
have to
H2.
do a fine tooth comb, because whatever the official minutes are, it could come back, we're stuck with that language.
Yes.
I didn't even follow the last couple of sentences where it starts at. There was some discussion of the citing item being before the board before, the efficacy of receiving grants. I don't get what they're trying to tell me there. Am I having a blonde moment?
An elected official moment.
Okay,
Where are you looking at, Beth?
I'm looking at County Road H2 East Trail,
Okay.
very end of it. I'm not tracking on that, so I'm not quite sure what that
Made
was.
a motion to approve resolution 2570, ordering preparations of plans and
All the way at the end.
not to exceed 201.9.
No, go the paragraph above.
Oh,
There was some discussion.
okay, of this item being before the board before the efficacy of receiving the grants and other items regarding the trail improvement. There was some discussion of the trail going through some residents' yards.
I'm not quite sure what we're saying there, or what was,
I think it's just reflecting conversation, is all.
all right.
Well,
And
it's all vague till we get a feasibility report, so we really
Oh,
can't.
that's a good point.
Okay.
We're not sure what's going to happen until we see that.
Okay. And I think my question about feasibility reports, I'll wait till we get there. How's that? Okay, I'm done.
Okay.
All right. Steve, you anything?
Not on the minutes, no.
All right, then I need a motion to approve the minutes from September 15th with those additions.
I'll move to approve the minutes of the September, what meeting was it? 15th?
15th.
With the changes discussed.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, that motion carries. Item 5 is a consent agenda item. We have 3. The board okay with these?
No, Mr. Chair, I'd like to pull consent agenda item 5A for discussion.
All right,
The other two I'm fine with.
then I need a motion to approve the other 2.
Well, Mr. Chair, if I may, I have a problem with the contract terms on Bryan Automation
All right, so we'll
purchase.
pull that too. All right, so then I just need a motion on 5B.
Move to approve consent agenda item 5B.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, that motion carries. So we'll pull item 5A. This is the Bear Scare Fun Run.
Correct. Mr. Chair, this event is scheduled to take place October 25th, 2025, from 9 to 12, and that's fine. But if you look at the insurance certificate that has been provided, liability insurance certificate, it covers effective dates from 7/1/2024 to 7/1/2025. The event is occurring after the expiration date of the general liability coverage. So as we've done in the past, it just requires them to provide a more current certificate of liability, naming the town as a certificate holder of protection. And so I would move that we pass that, subject to them providing an up-to-date certificate of general liability coverage covering the dates of the event, which I'm sure the school district has. Because it's the White Bear Lake Area School District is the insured, and so I'm sure that they've got coverage. I would almost bet they have insurance coverage beyond this
I'm
term.
having a little problem following what you're saying there, Steve.
Okay, they need to provide an up-to-date certificate of insurance that covers the dates of this event.
Got it.
It might just be their calendar year.
Yes,
The one they gave you is already expired.
yes, and so that's null and void, as
Got
far
it.
as I'm concerned. So with that in mind, I'd move to approve that item, subject to an up-to-date certificate of liability.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed? All right, then item 5C. Our attorney has an issue with, is that also a certificate of liability, or?
No, it's with the language in the contract. It's page 24 of my packet. It states the terms and conditions of the contract, and it's legal action. I have a problem with the language. It says, "Buyer shall pay all attorney's fees, costs, and disbursements incurred by seller in collecting any amounts due from buyer, enforcing these terms and conditions, and/or enforcing the terms of any contracts for sale of goods by seller to buyer." That bothers me because as I read that, it could include situations where the town, in good faith, questions has a dispute over the equipment or materials being supplied. I think if you're going to approve the contract, I would approve it subject to that language being deleted.
Good call.
Would this, obviously, then this recommendation would have to go back to them and make sure that they're still okay with their legal before we would
Yeah.
make this purchase.
That's the problem, I'll grant you, that's the problem.
Do me a favor. Type that up and send it to me tomorrow morning. I don't want to
will.
get between attorneys.
Okay,
Well, is this something we should just table?
I think so. Subject to legal review.
yeah. I mean, I appreciate this is something that the Public Works needs.
Well, what I'm getting at is, do you feel comfortable passing this with ongoing litigation between the two, or should we just not do anything with it and wait till it comes back to us?
What do you think there, Chad?
I think you could approve it subject to negotiation on language.
All right, 'cause so if they don't agree with that, that kills the transaction.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because was this something that was in stock? I guess I didn't look. I don't think,
I don't know if it said that.
I didn't see it anywhere near, I mean, GT might know, but I'm just getting, if it's something we have to order, we're getting close to snowfall, if this delays it a month, of course, we should, 2 weeks would
Yeah,
be
2
probably
weeks.
max.
Yeah, we'll be all right.
Okay,
So this is the Veritech contract? that we're talking about?
Yes.
But if the, on page, excuse me, on page 23, it says it expired on September 18th anyway. The quote.
They would, they're
Well,
gonna
I'm sure
honor
they
that.
would honor it,
They will honor it.
but then they will have to change this. So,
Yep.
all right, so I need a motion to table this to our next meeting, when it is what? September, or October,
yeah.
was it, the
20th.
20th?
Yep. That's our assessment night, but it'll go quick.
All right, I need that motion.
I'll make a motion to table, what is this,
5C.
5C?
Yep.
Pending clarification of language in the contract to the meeting of October 20th.
I'll second.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right. Item 6 is old business, we have none. 7 is public hearing, we have none. So we'll go on to new business, the County Road J 35E cost share agreement. Larry, you gonna handle this?
I don't believe so.
Because I had some questions and I
I'll
asked
handle that.
Patrick if he would know.
I can handle this. I discussed this with Dale. Chair, if you have some questions, go right ahead.
Let me see, I had a couple here. The table that shows the breakdown of the actual costs, I gotta get to it.
Please tell us what page.
It's gotta be coming.
25 of 55.
Oh, I think I wrote it down, 46.
You're on page 46.
Oh, I got a ways to go.
Yeah, you do.
Because it says here, the township is gonna be responsible for $23,000 worth under construction costs. But then there's another 147,000, I believe, that they want us to pay for right-of-way expenses,
That's right-of-way acquisition,
Acquisition.
cost of acquiring the right-of-way.
but it seems to be somewhere in the contract, I thought it said that Ramsey County was responsible for all right-of-way transactions or
Well, they're
acquisitions.
responsible to negotiate the transaction, but the ultimate cost is shared between the county and the township.
Okay, I guess when I read that proposal, it wasn't that clear. Well, as long as if that's how it's stated, because now you take the 147 and the other 24, so we owe like 167 or whatever that number is.
Yeah,
And my question was too, can that come out of our road improvement fund? Because it's a water main, it's trail.
Well, I think there's a couple of funds we could use if it's a water main.
Well, so we don't pull this out of general fund?
Yeah, we won't pull it out of general fund.
'Cause that's just gonna run our levy up.
Yeah, no, you're right. I could talk to TK specifically about the pot of money he wants to use.
Okay, well, I think we discussed this at a board meeting or an exec meeting,
Yep.
but I want to make sure all the funding is not coming out of the general fund.
Gotcha.
All right, I saved you there. Steve, you got any questions on it?
No, I'm pretty comfortable with, we've talked about it before, so.
Beth?
Nothing.
All right, then I need a motion on this. Accept and approve the Ramsey County Co-op Maintenance Agreement.
I'll make a motion to approve and accept the Ramsey County, whatever,
I'm looking for it here. This big one?
That one.
yeah, cost share agreement for the County Road J 35E.
All right, do I have a second?
Second?
All right, motion made, second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
You don't want this whole thing?
No. Well,
Okay,
it references it, so I don't.
all right.
All right, item 8B, this is the Andrea Lane area 25-2 street improvements. That one's yours, Larry.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair and Town Board. As we wrap up our current street projects for 2025, we're looking ahead to 2026, and we have several street projects we're proposing to get started on here tonight with your authorization. I'll maybe just run through all these together, and then you can look at your resolutions for those. So the first here is the Anderley Lane area. It includes Anderley Lane, Reed Place of Lavelli Court, Parker and Mill, Saxony Court. These are streets right on County Road H2, just west of the Bald Eagle Lake. And this project is in your pavement management plan that was prepared back in 2021, 2022. And this project was combined together with the Cottage Avenue, Prospect Avenue, and Lakeview Avenue project. We're proposing tonight to bring these to you or separate them for now through the feasibility report process. There's some a few different characteristics between these. This is also off of H2, north of H2, these streets. And really what we want to get started tonight is the feasibility study that would do some of the data collection, including the topographic survey, the soil borings that inform what is beneath the road, and the pavement depths and those types of things. And also look at wetland delineation, start working with the watershed district. Over the last few years, we've been starting our coordination with the watershed district earlier. So the feasibility study process is now where we're doing that coordination with the watershed districts. And that has kind of helped us in the design process to move things forward. And then also it has brought some additional funding on some of these projects with partnering with the watershed. The other project we're looking at is another street project off of Portland Avenue. These streets weren't exactly in your pavement management plan per se, but they, with the current ratings that were completed in this spring by Public Works, we're seeing some of the ratings fall off on these streets. And we want to do some, a mill and overlay is what we'd be proposing for now, evaluating a mill and overlay to try to catch these streets before they fall below the category where we would have to do some larger repairs. So, these streets are somewhat of a little bit of an add-on to our pavement plan, but just working with Public Works this summer, we feel like we should look at these streets, evaluate them through the feasibility report to determine if these projects should move forward. So kind of again, the Annerly and the Cottage Prospect and Lakeview are in your plan for 2026. We also have been Hoxie, the Hoxie neighborhood, the Williams and Hoxie neighborhood is still on our minds as well, and we need to move forward with finishing that feasibility study on that one. That one has a number of drainage issues that we'd now like to also look at. So ultimately, when we get these feasibility reports for all these streets and looking at some of our final feasibility reports for Williams and the Hoxie neighborhood, we'd come back and we'd look at programming which projects really happen in 2026 and which maybe 2027. But gave you a lot there, but happy to answer any questions you might have on any of these. But right now, we're just looking for authorization to get started on these 3 projects for completing the data we need to perform a feasibility study for these neighborhoods.
Beth, questions,
I
comments?
do. It's kind of a new guy question since I'm new. When you do these feasibility studies, do you have any that have been done previously? Like, and if they have, can we take some of that information just to shave the costs on the new
Well,
feasibility?
yeah, so we do.
Okay.
We tailor our new feasibility studies on the ones we've done before.
Okay.
Of course, there's new data, there's new properties, there's new, you have to evaluate the properties that would be part of that assessment. That's an individual thing. The cost estimates, we use kind of the same data we've used in the past for the cost estimates, but you have to compute new areas and
I was just thinking the Williams-Hoxie area, that's really old and there's no new houses there. A couple of them could actually go, but, you know.
we
Just,
use as much as we can from
Okay.
our own feasibility
I was just curious. Thanks.
materials to complete these.
That's it.
Steve, what do you got?
Well, as part of the Cottage, Prospect, and Lakeview Avenues, there is, they tie into a county project that was done several years ago where they did a preservation project and there were storm drainage issues there. Is there a way to tie in the county again? Because the problems have not been fixed. They put in a Band-Aid, in my opinion, that they're still ponding. And that's in the right-of-way area of the county roads. So as this one develops, keep that in the back of your mind that there may be county tie-in there.
Yeah, we're aware of that issue, and we'll be looking at that as a part of this project. Drainage is difficult on some of these streets because there's not a lot of infrastructure to tie into.
Sure, and as part of that, we had another thought of putting a trail either on the north or the south side, and some of those drainage issues could probably be addressed with that piece of the puzzle along with this.
Yeah, so in that regard, the timing with these improvements, or at least studying them and determining what the issues are, tie in well with the trail project we're also looking at. So studying this in conjunction with the work we're doing on the trail along H2 is kind of a good thing, so we can try to get everything right with our projects as they tie into the county road.
Perfect. Okay, that's it.
The feasibility study for the trail was considering both sides, correct? They're looking at both sides. So we don't know for sure if it's going to affect that street improvement. Also, at the end of those Cottage, Prospect, Lakeview, is there I can't remember, is there a main sewer line back down there? Is there would there be?
Based on one of them, I'm pretty sure there is.
Yeah, I think it's Lakeview. But so that would be part of this feasibility study then, because I don't know if there's storm down there, but I know there's septic, if I remember right. Because part of your question too with drainage, I think that part of the problem down there, because it used to flood down there. That's all Ramsey County open space and a lot of wetland. And then I also had why isn't Saxony part of the Cottage Prospect? It's all north of H2, but yet it's thrown into the Anderley Lane one.
Yeah,
Is there a reason for that?
it could go either way. Oops. I'm trying to pull that one back up. So Saxony is kind of on it a little bit different than really all these. It has concrete curb and gutter already. I didn't mention the rest of this neighborhood, both north and south of H2, have bituminous curb. Saxony is somewhat on its own. It already has concrete curb and gutter. But there's some pavement failures that are happening there that we want to tie to at least one of these projects.
Right.
And so
So it doesn't matter which one?
it really doesn't matter if you told me tonight you'd like to see it with Cottage Prospect, we could do that, or we could leave it with the Anderley.
I know it's probably a fairly newer road compared to the
Yes.
existing, but I think that's probably the last newer road that we had right next to the freeway. All right, well, I would leave that up to you guys. I'm not an engineer, so I don't know if it makes a difference or not, cost-wise, even to the number of homes that makes it an assessment a little easier on the residents if it's thrown into one or the other. I don't know. You'd have to count units and.
I think it's with all these, I think we're in an era now where the benefit is really going to drive the assessment rate
Okay.
versus the calculation of units.
All right, I see we have residents. Is anybody here to address this for 2026 road improvement? Okay. Any other questions of the board? All right, hearing none, obviously, we want to take these one at a time, correct, Larry?
Yes.
So the first one's Andrew Lane. First, I need an adopt a resolution ordering preparation of feasibility report.
I'll move to adopt a resolution ordering preparation of a feasibility report for street improvements on the Anderley Lane area 2025-2.
Do I have a second?
Do I put the not to exceed or?
We haven't got to that part yet.
Okay. I'll second.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed? And the next one is the cost.
I'll move to approve the cost, prepare the report in amount not to exceed $144,000 for this Anderley Lane area 2025-2 street improvement project.
I'll second.
All right, motion made and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, then item C, this is the Cottage Avenue, Prospect Avenue, and Lakeview Avenue. Want to keep going, Steve?
Oh, sure. I'll move to adopt a resolution ordering preparation of a feasibility report on a street improvement project for Cottage Avenue, Prospect Avenue, and Lakeview Avenue, noted as 2025-3 street improvements.
I'll second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? And then the second one is the cost.
I'll make a motion to approve cost to prepare a report in the amount not to exceed $110,000 for the Cottage Avenue, Prospect Avenue, and Lakeview Avenue 2025-3 street improvement.
I'll second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, that motion carries. Then we go down to B, or D, this is the Bloom Addition area.
Yep. I'll move to adopt a resolution ordering preparation of a feasibility report on a street improvement project at Bloom Avenue, or Bloom Addition area, 2025-4 street improvement.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? And the last one is the cost again.
I'll move to approve cost to prepare a report in an amount not to exceed $89,500 for the Bloom Addition area 2025-4 street improvement project.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, thanks, Larry. All right, that concludes our regular agenda. is open time. I know we have some folks here. If you've got something for open time, just come on up. I need a name and an address. Mike? how are ya?
Hello, how's it going? Hello. Mike Brass, 2533 8th Street.
And Kyle Steinke, 5433 Jefferson Court.
So we came just to, so our street was just redone. 8th Street, Jefferson Court, and Taylor. And I'm on 8th. Kyle is on Jefferson Court. So there was a couple anomalies we thought you guys should know. They came in and put concrete drain areas in after they had taken out the 2 inches, whatever the proper name is for that. They put the concrete in, then waiting for the asphalt. Then they came back and tore them out and put them back in again. And Kyle asked them, why are you guys tearing them out? And they said, well, normally when we get here, the engineers shoot the height for us, and they didn't do it. And we were wrong. He said, well, did they shoot it for you this time? And they said, no, we're guessing again. I'm like, okay. So then when the road was put in, they took a foot of the width off the road, off both sides of the road. They put a beautiful thick asphalt curb in, but then they had to bring black dirt to fill in that foot. So the road narrowed by a foot on each side, or 2 feet total. I don't know if that's what you were planning or if that was something
Can you address that, Larry?
kind of happened. But
I don't remember downsizing the road.
That's that street, or which street was that?
that's on 8th Street.
8th Street. A lot of times we get into these projects and we prepare a section of what the width is going to be for the street, and sometimes you have the street was varies in width and changes, and so we're putting a standard width, whatever it was. I don't remember what it is for 8th Street, but
Yeah, I didn't
standard
measure.
width. And then so some areas that were, maybe wider in some areas, we're putting a standard width in there. So sometimes it changes a touch.
That would have been
because-
concrete curb and gutter, wouldn't it?
Nope.
No, this was just a mill and
mill
overlay
overlay,
project.
okay.
So we had some bituminous curb that I think might have been repaired
Right.
or redone in your area. And so there's some
So is it,
kind of anomaly where the existing road might have flared out and was not even, and we're putting in an even section. That's my hypothesis on what happened there.
it's all the way up 8th Street because they had to extend all the driveways. So now when it rains, it comes down the curb into the driveway, back out to the curb. So all those driveways are going to have water setting in that foot where they increased it. Seemed kind of weird, and that's going to, I think, create problems. And then when they redid Kyle's driveway,
Yeah.
I couldn't believe this. So they came in with the asphalt roller, and they had just done the street, so they didn't want to do the heavy asphalt roller on the street because it was just done. So they went up his concrete driveway, and they go all the way up so that they could turn and come back and hit the next section, go all the way up the driveway, turn and come back. Totally messed up his driveway. That seemed kind of crazy that they would do that.
Chad, would that be the contractor's liability that they
I
did
would
that?
say so.
Agreed, Larry?
Yeah, I'm familiar with that issue, and I think that would be a claim to the contractor if there was some damage done to your
Is that something?
driveway.
So that's why I was,
We're not passing the buck here, we're just trying to point
No,
out
I
that
understand.
yeah,
who created the problem, and who's gonna have to solve it.
yeah.
Right.
Okay.
And I'm just trying to, there's been lack of communication on this whole thing. And I just emailed the board for the first time right before this meeting, actually. So you probably haven't even had a chance to review it.
I sent it off to Larry to find out what was going on, so, because
But yeah, it's happened 3 weeks ago and no communication. And so I brought some stuff to say, but there's just general quality issues in terms of, I'm not a construction worker or anything like that, but just quality issues I've seen on the project. And then when it comes and it damaged my driveway, definitely wanting to have help from the township to restore, rectify the damage and stuff. But is that a claim that I have to make myself personally, or is the township, since they contracted them, would the township help in that?
That's a good question.
They're
And
not being real responsive.
That's why,
They put asphalt in, but it's temporary. Now, suppose they're gonna come back and put concrete in, because it's supposed to be concrete.
how
yeah,
about the driveway now?
yeah.
Yeah, just the end of the driveway, they asphalted like 3 feet.
Yeah, 3 feet. They're supposed to cut 3 inches. They cut 3 feet without me knowing. I guess they said from the email, when they're cutting, I guess it kept on breaking. So they made an executive decision to cut 3 feet off. And then I come home and it's like that after just discussing it. And I'm not okay with that. I want it.
Oh, it should have been concrete.
Yeah. So I actually prepared some remarks, but I'm more concerned now. So I have that temporary bituminous apron that they're going to be replacing. But before they paved the road, I thought someone would talk to me, and no one talked to me at all. I thought, until they start, it was the day they start paving the road. So I went out there, and Byron used to be the project manager. Then it's Mark and Marta, who's from TKDA. And I was like, wait a second, they can't pave this because they haven't fixed my driveway like they fixed all the other concrete driveways. So then they're like, well, we'll take care of it. And it was just like a lack of planning or something. And since the machines were there, they're like, we're going to asphalt the whole road, and then we'll have to come back and rip out the road in front of your driveway and the apron and fix it in kind in the concrete. So at that point, I was like, okay, that doesn't make sense, but okay. I'm concerned. I don't want you guys driving machinery on my driveway because I don't want other damage happening. That's what happened originally. And then I was talking to Mark and Marta, which are the TKDA project engineers, or they're like the managers stepping in for Byron, I believe. And then they assured, because I expressed the concerns, I don't want machinery driven on my driveway because I didn't want other damage. They assured me they do thousands of these and everything's going to be okay. I still didn't want it on there. And then despite the assurances, I'm in my work at home out of my office and my whole house is vibrating and shaking. And I'm like, what the heck's going on? I go outside to find they have the vibrating roller going all the way up my driveway back and forth. I have pictures of it and everything. And I stopped them. I'm like, what's going on? And I just told them about it. So they assured me everything's fine. Afterwards, I took pictures I sent to you guys, but there's a significant damage to the whole. They drove like 37, 40 feet up my driveway.
Well, it's good that you
Not good for
documented this,
concrete.
because obviously it's going to come down to a he said, she said, so you've got proof on this, so.
Well, I got images. I sent you some. I didn't send you everything, but
I got a phone call from you on Friday, I think, maybe, but
I don't have any.
I don't have any emails.
I don't have any.
I sent it maybe an hour or two ago, and I sent it to you guys. But I've had the email to all of the TKDA, Byron, and other people. And then there was other people from the township. I thought those were the people I need to talk to.
Be Dale or Public Works Director?
I think Dale.
Okay.
But I haven't got it. I sent them over a week ago, and I haven't got any response. So I found out about this meeting today. And so I'm like, I want to get you guys involved. Maybe you guys could help me somehow, at least get responses.
Build some fire.
How informed is Jim on this? Does he know about
Yeah.
this?
Is Jim from
Jim
TKDA?
Sedansky? Yeah.
Yeah, I am
He's
concerned.
the overall project engineer for the construction side.
Yeah, I am concerned. I think I was talking to Jim, and names I could be getting wrong, but after the damage was done, they were having a little huddle out front in my driveway, and I went out there and I talked to him and I showed him, hey, this is not right. I said I didn't want machinery on my driveway. They drove all the way up. So he checked it. I think it was him. I could be wrong. It could have been someone else. But it's concerning because he looks at the damage. It's obvious damage. It just happened. And then he's like, oh, there's dirt here. I have crushed concrete. You have pictures in your email. And then he's like, oh, this wasn't caused by us. And you can see the crushed concrete all the way into it. So it's just like, I don't know, like trying to deny liability or something. I don't know.
Concrete driveways are not made to have that machine driving up and down it.
Yeah.
It's So a lot of, I think it'll age very quickly, which is kind
That's-
of a shame, and it's a tough one, but
It doesn't look good.
and we're neighbors.
Again?
What's up?
What's your property address again, sir?
5433 Jefferson Court.
5433 Jefferson.
Yeah.
I hate to say this to you, but it's gonna be a combination of you and us,
Okay.
right? Because I'll have to talk to the board about this, but I would suspect sending a letter from the town attorney to the contractor might be a good idea on this one.
We haven't paid the final bills yet anyway, so.
Well, no, obviously, we always withhold certain amount of funds on these projects, so we have some leverage there too.
Yeah, so we do have some leverage, because we don't pay in advance.
Yeah.
So,
But I'm also concerned, there, I don't know if you know about this, the elevation of, what was it, the stormwater, storm drains?
Yes.
Well,
Why would they change on a mill and overlay?
Well, they replaced some drainage structures throughout that project.
But on a mill and overlay, wouldn't they just be going back?
They'd be going back in the same.
elevation.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure, again, I think the contractor may have a,
yeah.
who is this contractor? Do you remember? You know,
I think it's Dressel.
Dressel, I believe. I am, like I said, I'm not a construction professional or whatever. I did bring up the other quality stuff because I'm right there. I saw them digging out the big storm drains, and I talked to Byron after it was done. I was walking around just taking a look at the neighborhood, and I pointed out a couple, and I was like, this is extremely low. That doesn't seem right. And I brought it up to Byron's attention when they're working on it, and he assured me everything's good. They'll fix it later, and they'll bring it up. That's procedure. Well, then there was like a 2-week delay. After they did that, they didn't do anything. And then the next work they did is they ripped all of those up all over our streets again because it was too low. So that's a concern from, I don't know how all this project gets paid. Ultimately, there's, the township's responsible for paying it, but there's also special assessments. I have no idea how the finances happen with
Your
this.
assessments will not change.
Yeah, but I'm concerned with the quality. They're redoing that work, and talking to the people that were putting in those storm drains. I talked to him, and he said he's never been on such a disorganized project, and they didn't have anything measured the first time, and when he did it, so it was just concerning. And then the second time when he was doing it, when I talked to him, he also said he still didn't have measurements, and they're blindly putting him in again.
Might
So-
raise an eyebrow at
We had just
TKDA.
discussed feasibility studies. Our engineers do a very thorough job for scope of work, and all
Yeah.
that stuff is spelled out. So if there's a miscommunication,
Yeah.
I'm not going to get into the he said, she said.
no.
Yeah. And I'm not trying to throw anyone under the bus. I'm just bringing up concerns
But
as
we
a
will
resident.
look into it.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
bringing it to the attention here is proper, and then we have to see what we can find,
Yeah.
because, ultimately, we have to pay bills, and they're not, if it's not meeting what they were supposed to do or inferior, we do have some leverage on this.
Okay.
And I
They're
agree with
paid
what-
by the each, so they're paid once. So
Yeah.
if they either didn't wait for staking and they just did them without making that request, I don't know. I don't know what would have had them install it without direction on the elevation.
Okay.
But no, we'll take your concerns back to the engineer and then let them guys go to the contractor and see if we can hash this out.
Yeah.
But otherwise, like Chad had said though, if you've got a personal claim against the contractor, we can notify him of it, but it's going to be kind of a you and them.
We'll help you as much as we can, but there's a limit how far this
Right.
down.
Okay.
I don't know if
which
they
I
won't
hate-
work again at the township, they leave the township unhappy, that might.
Well, now that I think they've done work for us before, haven't they? So usually there's a red flag if they've had issues in the past.
Right.
So it would have came up on okaying the contracts this time, but no red flag, so.
Well, the last thing I noticed is 8th and Jefferson have the curbs, and I like the curbs. They were a thick, beautiful curbs. But then they didn't curb Taylor. Maybe that was by design, but that Taylor has no curbs, and that was shorter by a foot on each side too. So anyways, just wanted to make you guys aware.
And sometimes curves are designated by storm.
Yeah, and Taylor, there's like ditches off the edge of the road, so there's really nowhere to channel any curbs.
So if you put
on that
curb in,
one.
then the water's gonna stand on the road.
Good point. Yep, there are off the side ditches on each side. That makes sense. Cool.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you, gentlemen. The staff will be in touch with you when we find out a little bit more information. for you.
Okay. And I don't know winter-wise coming, if this needs to be addressed sooner than later, or should I just talk with Chad?
Sooner. It'll
Yeah,
be tomorrow.
I would
we'll
like
have a
it sooner.
discussion.
Thank you.
All right, thanks.
Thanks, gentlemen.
Gary Gray. I live at 2541 Taylor Avenue. I've had many discussions with the engineering firm, with different people that have been involved in it, and lack of quality on what I've seen on Taylor is terrible. It specified the street is supposed to be 20 feet wide. I went out and measured it. It's not. They said, well, we can't add 2 inches. I said, well, then tear out the whole road and do it again, because you didn't do it right to begin with. And they said, well, we can't do that. And also, I got a copy of the contract and the plans. I didn't bring it with me. And it specified that in areas, they're supposed to be class 5 along the edge of Taylor. They say where it's needed. Well, there hasn't been any put in. And when a mailman comes up to the mailbox, drops into the mud that they've replaced, rather than having class 5 along the edge. And you can see that in several different areas along there. Where the street meets my driveway, I had to go out there and talk to one of the supervisors, because the street that was put in, Taylor, was higher than my driveway. So when I plow my drive in the wintertime, is it gonna break my snow blower, my tractor, a four-wheeler? If I chip out the road, are they gonna come back and fix it? Several of my neighbors have the same issue. And overhearing the supervisor at the time, he said to the worker, well, we're not gonna be doing all of these this way, because they did come back with a roller to do my driveway, and one of my neighbors, another neighbor, they didn't do his because he had a concrete driveway. They didn't want to run a roller on his driveway. And he talked to someone, and they were supposed to come out with a torch and heat up the asphalt and roll it down, apparently. But the
So you
quality.
have an asphalt driveway?
Pardon? Yeah, I have an asphalt. And I said, well, why is there a difference? He said, well, the engineers were out here, and they cut back the driveways where they wanted them cut back to, and they okayed the height that we're putting in the asphalt, and they okayed everything. So who's okaying everything, and things aren't turning out right? I had my own business. When I had issues with a project or with something was done, we took care of it, did it. If an employee didn't do it right, he got reprimanded for it. The gal that was out there overseeing the work that was being done, she was running around, didn't do anything. Obviously, so many things got let go and didn't get properly addressed. And I haven't talked to a single neighbor that's happy with what happened on Taylor Avenue. And I wonder what the town board's going. You guys are the ones that hired TKD. Who hired the people that actually did the work? I don't know, but there's a lot of steps involved. When the first people were out doing the marking before the gas work was done, me and my neighbors watched 2 crews of people sitting in their truck, sitting there all day, not doing anything. They come out, walk, do a little bit here, sat in their truck all day. That firm got fired, and another firm came in. So someone's not watching the store. And it's you guys taking our money and spending it, whether it's willy-nilly or what, but it doesn't seem like it's being spent with responsibility. And I'm not happy about it. My other neighbors aren't happy about it. And I'm not a great public speaker, so I forgive my breaking in my voice, but
Well, a couple things. We have the engineer drop a scope of work.
Yep.
And that scope of work is put out for bids. And we might get 3 bids, we might get 12 bids. Usually the low bid gets the work. That price never changes anymore. They could screw up 5 times. They're not gonna get paid anymore, so they're better off to do it right the first time. But when you talk about trucks sitting there and nobody's working, that's not costing us anything extra. That's costing them. So I don't know if these are people marking the utilities.
Yes, they were marking the
That's somebody
utilities.
that's totally separate from us. Again, that's a contractor they hire.
it's still all a project.
Well, I
Right,
understand that, but that's another sub that.
Right.
Out of our control. That's a sub that they pick to mark the roads.
Okay.
If they're gonna sit in their truck all day, what are you gonna do? It's the old saying, you lean on that guy till I get a shovel for you. And some of that goes on, so.
And with a supervisor from the engineering company out there, shouldn't she be taking care of that?
Well, again.
Isn't it someone's responsibility to
There
watch
is
the
some
store?
responsibility, but our engineers are not gonna go tell a subcontractor, get out of your truck and get to work. That's just not gonna happen. But trust me, you are on the list now that we're aware of these issues. And tomorrow we will be meeting with one of the engineers that's in charge of it to find out what we can do to resolve some of these things.
Okay. And
We're not gonna let you hang, and we'll figure this
okay.
out.
And so far as the repairs of the damage that was done to the ditches and whatnot, I was out there myself with a 3-foot rake. Those guys are out there with a 1-foot rake, throwing some dirt around, and it looked terrible. If I hadn't been out there doing it myself, it'd still look terrible.
All right.
The quality of what they're doing for the restoration.
The staff
Very lacking.
staff will be in contact with you when we get some answers for you.
Okay. And I got a letter today stating that they're addressing these issues. They're putting a checklist together of all the things that need to be taken care of.
Yeah,
I'd like to see a copy of that.
They
Can I
normally
get a
have a punch
copy of
list.
that?
I don't think we get it yet, Larry. We don't get it till when?
When they get the project substantially complete, it's called a punch list. It's a
Okay.
list of items that
Right.
are outstanding
Right.
or need to be corrected.
Yep.
And so that's prepared when we get all the remaining streets paved, and they call it substantially complete.
Okay, so in your estimation, are they going to come and dig out the dirt that they put in along the edge of the Taylor and then put in the class 5?
I'd have to review that with the construction engineer on what needs to happen where for that.
In your opinion, what do they do when it's supposed to, it's specified 20 feet wide, 10 feet from center,
Yeah,
and it's not? I've been out there with a tape measure. In several different places, it's not.
I was out there with the tape measure today, and it measured 20 feet to me.
Yeah, there's
where
dirt there.
Where I took the measurement.
Without the dirt, it was real easy to measure it, and it's real easy to see where it was. Now that the dirt's there, the eye isn't going to catch it.
Okay.
So what do you feel they should do to make it correct?
Well, until we have a definite answer from the other engineers, we're not going to speculate on if it's 20 feet or 2 inches short. We're not going to sit here and argue about it.
Okay.
Yeah. We're not going to tear up the road for 2 inches.
Okay. I've
What
seen.
if the next part of the road is 20 foot too?
Right.
And do we have to tear that 2 inches off?
I know.
Okay, we're going to come to a fine line where we're not going to, obviously there's some issues out there, but we're not going to pick if it's a 2 inch, 1 inch on each side of the road.
If you're an ordering an orange car and they sent you a red one, would you be happy with
That's
it?
totally different thing.
Okay. I said
All right. Like I said, we will keep in touch with you.
Thank you.
I'm Pat Olson, live at 1141 Anderson Lane, and I'm sure everybody's heard some of the issues going on with Anderson Lane. I can't imagine you wouldn't have by now. One of the things that I wanted to bring up tonight, I was going to get on the agenda with a big laundry list, but I think we'll do that at another time. There were a couple of issues that we really want to bring up that need to be addressed really immediately because they're going to start doing the restoration tomorrow, according to the emails that were sent out. One of the things that is a great concern is we had an ad hoc meeting with Jim and Dale in my front yard regarding some runoff issues, some easement issues, a whole laundry list of issues. And one of them was the runoff of the street and where it was going to go, which is ultimately in my backyard. It's going into a marsh area that the watershed district really wasn't aware of at that point when I talked to them.
Address?
Pardon me?
What was your address?
1141 Anderson
Are
Lane,
you way down on the end on the north side?
on the north side.
Okay.
About the third one from the end. It's the old Vermeulen house. Kathy and Dave live behind me there. And but at any rate, just to break it down to a real simple thing, they decided that some of the runoff would be helped, if you will, if there was a ribbon curb put on the north side of the street. It was decided in my front yard where this was going to go in, explaining that the runoff from the road would be reduced by saturation into the lawns rather than going down to the two catch basins that weren't there before. Well, when they did do the ribbon curbing, it was about a foot lower than the existing lawns, which absolutely makes no sense whatsoever. You might as well have done the surmountable at that point, and it would have raised it by 3 inches. As it stands right now, they're going to have to cut back into our lawns like 10 feet at least. Okay, to at least 10 feet to get that to even touch into that ribbon curbing, which ultimately is just going to make a gutter. It's going to make a gutter between that ribbon curb and our lawns. And it's going to go down into 2 catch basins that aren't in the easement. And that's for another discussion. That's a whole nother ball of wax there. The quality, there seems to be a common theme here. The quality has been not great. The road itself right now looks good. It looks really nice. But when they were grading to get ready to go, they took that blade and they chipped up and tore up that curb. And one section's cracked and broken. I don't understand how, and again, I'm not an engineer. I'm not a construction guy. But how is it not visible that there's a foot difference where that ribbon curbing was supposed to go? It was explained very clearly that that's what it was going to be. When we asked how much runoff there was going to be, and when they were trying to determine this, the engineering term that was used was a little bit. It's a little bit of water. Well, somehow I think that when you calculate out cubic feet of water for a run and a drop, it's the equation doesn't equal a little bit.
Is the final wear course on now? I know I just drove by it today, but I couldn't tell. There was
No, it's base course.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's still.
Because if I remember right, there doesn't half that road drain towards Centerville and the other half drains to the east.
Yep.
To this area this gentleman's talking about.
Yep.
Right. Yep. And so, I mean, it's a whole series of things that really are going to have to be addressed. And ironically, when a lot of this was happening, I got my assessment letter. So that's like getting a bill for a car I haven't even looked at yet. So that was a little aggravating, to say the least. I understand that's protocol and procedure. I get that. I understand that. But the comedy of errors that has gone on with this project is absolutely insane. I will add that this Tony, I can't, Soto, is it Soto? Anthony. He's been fantastic as far as keeping people informed. That's one caveat that we have here. He's been great about keeping us informed, letting us know, but I think he really got thrown to the wolves on this project. I really do, because there's so many problems with this thing, and has been since the very beginning. Right back to the meetings where I'm sure all you gentlemen remember, we signed a petition that we didn't want a lot of this stuff done, and it was done anyway. And you can't help but feel, as a constituent, as a citizen, as a resident of the township, that it's just tough. You almost feel bullied. This is what we're going to do, and there's really not a lot you got to say about it. And and I don't mean to interrupt you, but when we're doing these feasibility studies and stuff, and unless there was a meeting that I'm serious, if I didn't see it, then it's on me. But shouldn't the residents maybe have alternate or some different ideas on what could happen and what wouldn't? Because if somebody would have asked about those catch basins and that easement, and I stood corrected on that easement, there is one there, but it wasn't followed. But if somebody would have asked, they would have told you, it won't go there. It can't go there. That water can't go anywhere but into about 4 or 5 different backyards, which is really bad, really bad.
Well, I will say, I understand a lot of the residents didn't want that road widened, and we took that into consideration, and we did not widen it.
Right,
So
and
it's
we
not like
really
we didn't
appreciate
listen
that.
to you guys, but I leave water drainage to the experts, so I'm not in any position to say where catch basins should go or where they shouldn't go, or if they're working or if they're not working. That's not our expertise. That's why we rely on the engineers. But trust me, it sounds like it's going to be a long meeting tomorrow morning with.
And it sounds like you might have your work cut out for you. And I don't mean to shovel it on, but I got to tell you that block is aggravated beyond words. We really are. We do appreciate that when you listen, especially Beth. I mean, it was great. There was a voice of reason there. We didn't need to go 28 feet. We really didn't. And we didn't. And we all appreciate that. We really do. When there's good work done and people are doing what they're supposed to be doing, heck, it should be there. And we really appreciate that. But when things go south, and I'm sure you guys just get tired of hearing all of this over and over and over again. I've bent your ear way too many times. And when they came out, they thought it was over some trees. I discussed those trees for you. Mm-hmm. And as it turns out, those trees wouldn't have even been in play had they been in the easement. It was way off. Not that it's a big, they're growing out of the ground everywhere. I mean, I get that. But at the same time, it was almost adversarial. And I, as a resident here, a taxpayer, and when I get that assessment bill and I'm looking at that thing, it's not appreciated. I mean, it just isn't. You know,
And it's
this-
surprising because almost all the projects last year, people were overly happy. And now we've got just almost the opposite. So we do listen, and we will address these things.
Okay. And I don't know what the next steps are going to be. I mean, I've talked to Beth about this. I don't know what the next steps are going to be, but there was some real engineering and design and execution flaws in this project, in my opinion. There really was. So, and I just want to bring it to the board's attention. I'm assuming that's what this is for. So,
All right, thanks, Pat.
all right. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Yeah, Mike McKinney, 1131 Anderson Lane. I came tonight to talk to Dale Reed. I have a request, and that would be when they do water main hydrant flushing this fall, put a meter on the hydrant on the end of Anderson Lane and run 1,000, 2,000 gallons through a meter, and then you'll have a much better idea what's going to happen with that water when it gets to the two, catch basins. Where they gullied it out, that's going to be a lagoon or water. There's no place for that water to go until it gets a certain height. Then it's got to work its way through the marsh. Once it gets through the,
I know Dale has a formula for how much water is emitted per minute or whatever it is. I don't know if we'd really want to be just pumping water just to see where it's going to go. We're kind of under a
that's what I'm
scrutiny of
saying, when they
what we do
fall
with our
hydrants.
water.
Yeah.
hydrant, water main flushing, they're out there every year. Well, they flush it quite a bit because it's a dead end line. I'm just saying, when you're going to open that hydrant, put a meter on it so we get an idea how much water went down the road, and then you'll be able to see that it doesn't get to the marsh until it fills this, I don't want to call it a swale, it's a ditch they built into the cattails. But the problem there is, once that water can get through that marsh and it gets to my north property line and west, and it floods into my yard. And I've got pictures of June 16th, we got 3 inches of rain. The ditch can't take that water. This is before any catch basins, or this is just natural runoff. And the ditch floods, my backyard floods.
All right, I'll bring it up to Dale.
And the other thing is, that it's been mentioned, but I can't understand why a grader would go down the road and bounce off new curbing. I seen it right away. It's chipped in a number. I got pictures, and anyway, it's chipped. But I seen him go down the road. You could see the white smoke every time that blade got up against the new gutter. I mean, that concrete's a week old. We were told to stay off it, and then you put a grader up against it, and you can go all up and down Anderson Lane and see the chips. It doesn't make sense. Thank you.
Thanks, Mike. Anyone else? Going once, going twice? All right. Item 11, I need a motion to,
Should this be, so there's other issues, I don't want to necessarily take time, but where they ripped up the road.
you got to come up to the mic.
Sorry. I know, I've already spoke a lot, but Kyle Steinke, 5433 Jefferson Court. But where they ripped up the drainage, part of that was on my property, and they already restored my grass, but then they ripped up that grass again and kind of relaid it, and all that's, I didn't bring it up or email that because I'm more concerned about the driveway. But would they come back? Are they going to come back and fix? I have all that dead grass and everything, and it's just kind of hodgepodge put in there.
Sod, or did they?
Yeah, it was sod originally that they put down, but then when they ripped everything back up to redo it, they haven't come back, and it's all dead. And I have different spots that are.
No, when it comes down to their punch list, it has to be restored to our standards, and that won't pass.
Okay. And I didn't even know about this, but I didn't realize, I don't know where to see where easements are. I didn't realize my property was an easement, and they used it as a main drainage down my property.
But you got to remember, roads are deceiving because roads don't always go right down the property lines. The road might be this far into the easement that way, and this far into the easement down 200 feet. So the road doesn't always maintain right down the center of that road right away.
Okay.
So sometimes you're encroaching on more property, sometimes you've got a lot to play with, so.
Yeah. And they restored it. When they did restore it, it was good. I was happy with that restoration for the most part, but the lack of communication going into it, recurring theme of that's been frustrating. You know, it's Friday evening. I go, there's a team of people out there, and they tell me that I need to take my fence down because it's on that they need to drive tractors back there. Well, that was Friday evening, and it needs to be down by Monday morning because that's when they're coming. But anyways, they restored it good, but now I am concerned about when they tore it back up, that's not restored. But ultimately, the driveway is the biggest concern. So thank you.
Thanks, Kyle. All right, we're going to move on. Item 11, I need a motion to receive agenda material and supplements.
So moved?
Second?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And I need a motion to adjourn at 8:06.
So moved.
Second?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, we are adjourned.
Thanks, board.